share Attitude is Everything Chapter 2 review. There's a lot of great thoughts that I marked as to review. And the first one part is that Chapter 2 is Attitude is a Choice. Attitude is a choice. It's an amazing, amazing lesson. And I think that there's a lot of great lessons there. And let's get started. So the first thought is sometimes people tell you what you can do because they don't see themselves achieving it. That's a very powerful lesson. Sometimes when you share your ideas, share your goals with other people, they will not see how you can achieve that. But it's not that because you are not able, but because they are not able. So they project their insecurities onto you. So we need to be very careful sharing our goals with other people because we need to understand that we're not seeking validation from other people. We need to really take action and say, this is what I'm doing, rather than asking, do you think that I could achieve that? Because if they do not see for themselves, they will not see for you as well, potentially. The second that I wrote, the difference in our attitudes that they made a difference in our behaviors. So he shared a story how he ran to the airport and the plane was delayed for 2 hours, and the behavior. There's two people who had totally different behavior based on attitude. One person was really mad because the plane was 2 hours late, while Keith, the author, was okay with those 2 hours because he was able to do something with those hours. He was able to read. He went to get the popcorn. So his attitude was great, and his behavior was according to his attitude. People who was upset, of course, they argued. So after that, he shared that I believe that any time you are going through something, you have always got to go inward to find out what little things you can do to bring joy to your life. So he shared that in that moment when maybe he was in a rush and he needed to go in a plane, but that plane was delayed for 2 hours. So he looked inwardly and looking, what kind of small joyful things I could do right now that could bring joy to my life? And he said that for him, joy is popcorn. So he went and found his popcorn and he was able to eat and enjoy his moment. So that means every single time when you're going through stuff, you ask yourself as well, what kind of small things I could do right now that could bring at least a little bit joy, at least energy into my life. Very powerful lesson. The next was that the power of choice. The problem is that we often forget that we have a choice. The problem is that we often forget that we have a choice because we think that the attitude is it is what it is. You have a bad attitude and you will have for the rest of life. No, you're able to work on it. You're able to improve that. You're able to choose. Now, one very, very important thing to understand is that when you choose to go, let's say that, for example, you choose to go to a store to buy groceries. When you made a choice to go there, that means you're still not in a store. You will need to go walk. You will need to drive. You will need to get there to the store. Exactly the same is with attitude. When you choose to have that attitude, it might be that it will require you to take some actions to build that attitude. It might be maybe meditation, maybe some kind of affirmations, maybe gratitude. So that means it will need to take some action after that choice to get there. It's very, very important. So when you made a choice to have great attitude, now you will need to take some actions to really make it happen. You should choose your attitude thoughtfully because it determines how you respond to the many challenges you will encounter. There's a lot of great things in this quote. You should choose your attitude thoughtfully. So that means you are able to reflect what kind of attitude you want to have. And again, you will neither too many challenges you will encounter. So that means in the future will be many, 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 many challenges. And you need to choose what kind of attitude you want to have for those challenges because you're able to choose the attitude. And when those challenges come in, you already know that what kind of attitude you will love to have and work to have that because your attitude will determine what kind of future you have. Very, very important. And the next one is sometimes making no choice is the worst decision of all. Sometimes making no choice is the worst decision of all. I have been there when I was thinking, okay, what kind of decision do I have to make for months? And it's just the worst time. You don't have clarity. You don't take any action. It's just the worst thing ever is not taking any action whatsoever because when you make a choice, you're able to move towards something. But when you really stand still, you're not able to really direct anything. So making any kind of choice is better than not making a choice whatsoever. So choice is a starting point to everything we do in life. Choice is a starting point to everything we do in life. It's very, very important. So like if you want to really change careers, first we'll need to make a choice. Everything is based on choice. So let's make those choices and really sometimes they make decisions to make sure that you don't need to make those choices again. The self-confident people may suffer setbacks, make mistakes, or get dragged down by hard times, but they still believe they will weather the storm and come out on the top. This is very, very powerful as well. So that means self-confident people who have amazing attitude, they will go through setbacks, mistakes. They will go through a lot of terrible things. But what is different is that they know that no matter what kind of storm they are going through, they will be able to really survive it and thrive it even during the storm and after the storm. Because a lot of times is that people think that, okay, people who have great attitude don't have anything bad going for them. No, they have a lot of things going on, very terrible things going on. But because they choose the winner mindset, and that means winner mindset is choose that I will be coming better, stronger, faster. I will be on top of this disappointment. Controlled attitude. You can control your attitude or you can be controlled by attitude. This is very powerful because so when I think about really the next lesson is that people who are controlled by attitude, they also tend to perceive challenging times as special punishment dished out only to them because of past sins. It's such interesting. I always saw that challenges are the blessings that you receive. But I learned that a lot of people see those challenges as punishment because of the sins. Such an interesting thing. So have you ever thought that some kind of challenge is because of your sin? I think that this is, again, we need to change that perspective that those are the blessings. And because when you see the blessings, we're able to approach life totally differently because those are learning opportunities. So again, this is that they see even the good times and life blessings as merely a setup for bad things to come. It's interesting. I've been in that. I have been like, I had a lot of great things in my life, but I used to think that maybe I don't deserve it, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe there's a lot of things that really I used to come up with that not deserving in that moment. So we need to be very, very careful not to see blessings as something preparing for bad things to come. Because this is a choice. So when you have attitude under control, what happens? So that means that people are optimistic by nature, and even when life hits them hard, they see setbacks as temporary interruptions caused by circumstances they cannot control. It's very, very powerful. So that means when you have some kind of challenge, they see as temporary. It will not last long. So temporary, and the second part is very, very important to understand that they cannot control. That means that they do not have any control, so that means they let it go. Because when you think about really taking actions, say, do I have control over it? If I have, I take action. If I don't have control, I let it go. It's very, very important to really make sure that we take care of our attitude the best possible. The next one that I wrote is when an individual is strong in only one area, his or her potential is limited. It's when you are able to excel in under any condition that you stand out from your competitors. This is a lesson that I learned from my coach, a judo coach, because he said that if you really want to level up, you need to do very, very, very well during days when you feel well. But if you really want to have that edge against other people, you need to perform at your best during the worst days. Because at the worst days, people give up. They don't train as much. They don't give 100%. They give 20%. They say, like, I will give you that 100% tomorrow. So during the bad days, during the storms, when you have great attitude, you're able to really push even harder and really have that edge compared to your competition. It's a very, very important lesson. The next one, when you refuse to settle for the status quo and continue to strive to evolve, you will stay ahead of the competition in the business and make positive mark in life. And I think that is one of the most important parts in this sentence is strive to evolve. Not just to get better, but to just evolve. Because evolve says that you really need to transform yourself into something else that you've never been before. Not being afraid really to stretch yourself into the positions that you really never thought you're capable of. And we're not supposed to settle for status quo. So it means that we said, okay, we reach maximum. No, we'll never reach maximum. And we have that attitude, you always are able to really show example to other people and really mark and make a positive mark in life. Very, very powerful. The next idea that I want to really mention is this pretty long, and is that we often demand too much of love and friendship, and the same is true for happiness. It's easy to be happy if you can find. It's easy to be happy if you can find happiness in small doses. This is very powerful. It's easy to be happy if you can find happiness in small doses. That means that you're able to look for small things. Even the flower on the street, that is beautiful flower, could make you happy if you are allowing yourself to be happy with the small pieces. So if you set impossible criteria for happiness, then it will be impossible for you to be happy. So that means when you think about your happiness, what kind of criteria you base your happiness on? And if you are too high, you will never be happy. So that means that when you are able to be happy for small things, it's much more easy to really be joyful, have great attitude, and that great attitude attracts more happiness. Very powerful lesson. The next one is that for true happiness, it's best to look within yourself rather than rely on others or the world around you. So that means the true happiness is within ourselves. So that when you really look into really where is the happiness, where is the happiness? When you're looking for a car and you travel, everything, we look outside. But when you really, really want to have that true happiness, it's long term, not a short term. This is inside. And he's saying that the root of happiness is joy, and joy lives within you. So it means that joy is already in you. You just need to take it. You need to really look into that and take it. It's a very powerful lesson. The root of happiness is joy, and joy lives within you. Very, very powerful lesson. The thought that I really want to mention was, you are special. You can choose not to be hurt or discouraged. You can choose a positive attitude over negative attitude, and you can overcome this challenge. So the author sharing the story that he used to stutter in school. A lot of kids, of course, was rude and tell that you're tall, you're not supposed to be here, you stutter, and because of that, he used to have bad attitude, and he used to start to believe them. But his mother taught him that he needs to change his attitude, and he started to see that he's special. He's able to really choose not to be hurt and discouraged because of that. Because of that, he became a public speaker, and now he does never stutter, but he never allowed other people to influence his attitude. And again, he had a supportive person who helped him to really realize that he is able to choose better attitude and really overcome any challenge that he was facing. The next one is that life inflicts the same setbacks and strategies on optimists as on pessimists, but the optimist weathers them better. So this, again, we mentioned a little bit earlier, that every single person goes through setbacks and tragedies, but optimists are weathering them better because they know that is temporarily. That's very, very important. So becoming an optimist consists of learning a set of skills about how to talk to yourself when you suffer a personal defeat. This is probably one of the most important. You're able to coach your inner dialogue. You're able to coach your inner dialogue. So that means when you have some kind of setback, disappointment, personal defeat, you're able to coach yourself how to really have that conversation with yourself that you are building better attitude. Like really, really important. How to coach your inner dialogue. So it means that you are able to coach your inner dialogue, to improve that dialogue, because that dialogue is really hurting you. So that means that we need to have that conversation, that dialogue much better, and you are able to improve that. If you don't like that, you're able to improve that. The next one is that garbage in, garbage stays. There's a saying in garbage in, garbage out, but a lot of times garbage in, garbage stays. So that means, of course, we need to take care of it and throw things that doesn't help us. So the brain hears negative things and accepts them as truth. Many of us have behavior patterns today that were programmed in our brains at a very tender age. The information that was recorded by our brains could have been completely inaccurate or even cruel. This is very powerful. So that means that a lot of times the ideas, beliefs, values have been programmed to us 20, 30 years ago. And if we are not careful, we will keep those values, beliefs, morals, everything that are inaccurate and cruel for our life, to live a joyful life. So that means we really need to make sure that garbage in, garbage not stays, garbage out. Because those need to go out, and we really need to program the things that really could allow us to have amazing attitude. And the next one that I have is we like to think that our attitudes are affected by what people do and say to us. But in reality, it is what we say to ourselves that has the greatest influence on how we present ourselves to the world. So it means that when other people say to you something, is potentially could be hurtful, important, but is not as important what you say to yourself. Because again, you can accept what they said, or you can garbage in, garbage out. So it goes from one ear to goes for other ear. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they say. What matters is what you say to yourself afterwards. Because when you say good things, because they do not matter a lot of times. They are critics. They don't have anything going on in their life, and they just want to really hurt you. So don't allow other people to really hurt you, because the only person that you can hurt yourself is you, because you accept their sayings. A very important lesson. That means that you have the greatest influence over you, and don't allow other people influence your picture of yourself. The loudest and most influential voice you hear is your own inner voice, self-critic. This is completes the same message, that you are your own worst critic. And if you are the own critic, make that critic be positive. You control the sender and receiver, but only if you consistently take responsibility and control of your inner conversation. So it means that you are saying things and receiving things at the same time. So you're able to control all the picture of saying great things and receiving great things. And it's very powerful. So when you are a critic, you potentially could say bad things and receive bad things. And unfortunately, at that moment, you have bad attitude. But if you want to have great attitude, you're able to say great things and accept great things about yourself. Because it's just saying, sometimes we want to say affirmations, but we send, but we don't receive because we don't accept. So it's very, very important to have both. We have self-affirmations and accept those affirmations to receive them. Very, very powerful lesson. And the last one, that last quote that I wrote was that how we choose to use that control can alter the direction of our lives for the better or the worse. So that means we have control of our lives. We have control of our choice. So how you use that control will alter the direction of your life, because attitude will attract what you. Because I truly believe that success is attracted, and success is a lot of times attracted by your attitude. So based on your control of your choice, how you choose, what kind of attitude you choose, will alter the direction of your life. Very powerful lesson. So this chapter 2 was probably very, very important. We'll see how other chapters, but there is a lot of great lessons in the chapter. I highly recommend to read it because there is a lot of great things in there.